Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. I am Mrs. Best, and we do have James from Watch Your Mouth Reviews. Welcome in, James.
Hello, everyone. Make sure you like the video, comment, tell us you love us, subscribe, please, and thank you.
Please do. If you guys are on a desktop or a laptop or typing in James's channel on a browser, it is youtube.com/@ Watch Your Mouth Reviews 833. You can also tap into the links that are in the description of this video. There are links to his channel. It will be the first link you see, as well as other great creators who covered this show and a variety of others. That's the only thing about YouTube sometimes I don't like, is explaining those things, because my voice get real dry and then I get nervous. I'm like, am I saying it right? But I guess I said it right. We also hope that you like the video on your way in or out and consider subscribing to the channel. A big welcome to all of the new subscribers. And thank you to everybody. I was able to monetize on YouTube, so I am grateful for that. Please do not hesitate to tell Mrs. Best or Amina, however you so choose, to address me, to watch my you-know-what in mouth, because there are now guidelines I have to follow. And James knows this. I'm an air sign. I like to be free. I'm all over the place. Now I got to watch my mouth, literally. So I'm going to do my best to do that. But don't be afraid to correct me in the comments, y'all, because y'all know my mouth is terrible. But let's get into Million Dollar Nannies. I Know Your Secret, Season 1, Episode 4. Leah is great with kids. When you see her with kids, she does a great job with them. The problem is she's hella unprofessional. She lacks, like, she's accountable, but she doesn't want to be held accountable more than once. She gives the, like, if you got a problem with me, you tell me once and then never come to me again about that problem type of energy. I don't know how you feel about Leah as a whole and as a leader. How do you feel about her? Because
I actually, I would struggle with her leading me, if that makes sense. Like, I would struggle hard because she's all over the place. Her emotions are all over the place. She doesn't give a leader. And when she's confronted, she doesn't do the professional thing, as we saw in this episode. So it's kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna have to take a backseat to Leah. I thought I was gonna like her, but she's getting on my bad side already, and that's the boss.
yeah, I would say the first red flag was how she handled Taylor. Like, Taylor is a disaster also. We don't really care for Taylor too much on this channel, but she's keeping the show entertaining, so I'll give her that. But the way that Leah addressed Taylor was not in the way that someone who is a leader should address someone. It was highly unprofessional. That was red flag number one. Red flag number two, if you're the leader, you can't gossip with your friends the way you want to. Like, if I had to work beside James, he couldn't work under me. He just could not. It's not fair, no matter what I do or how professional I am. He would have to work at my level right with me, because it wouldn't work otherwise. With other people, it could be problematic. But at this point in the episode, because going forward, for those who have made it past the series, I'm pretty much done with it. I have one more episode. James is halfway through. The rest of the episodes are pretty much going to be us questioning Leah as a leader. The group is having a beach day. They're all trying to get out, have a fun time, even though they're supposed to be making money. I digress. And Olivia lets Leah know while at the beach that she shared the information about Leah sleeping with a dad, and that information has now gotten to the entire group of nannies. So Leah makes the decision, and this gave me hope, but I quickly lost my hope, because I had hope because Leah immediately was like, F it. I'm just going to go and I'm going to approach the group. We're going to talk about it, and it is what it is. So she does that. She approaches them. She explains the facts of the situation, which is that not only was this a friend, he was a single dad, so he was not in a relationship with anyone. And she has known him for many, many years. Now, she explains that she would never cross that line with a family, but I think whether you've worked nannying or not, it's common sense. Maybe don't get busy on the job or at the location of your job, on clock or off clock. There are 1,000 places that people can go and do the wild thing. Why do it in your place of employment. And when you're nannying, your place of employment is their home. So I don't understand that part. Um, Also, the group did question her a little bit. They're like, well, were you on the clock? Were you paid? And she was like, yeah, but I've known him. And I'm like, that's like saying if James has a kid, right? Because James has always wanted kids. And I have a feeling whether James ends up married or not, he gonna find a way to get his baby. We're gonna be adopting together probably. But if he decides to say, hey, Amina, this is best. You used to be a nanny. You're still fingerprinted. I want to go on vacation. Can you watch my child? I got to go out to eat. And he come back and then me and James suddenly decide that he is interested in chocolate African looking women and I am interested in light skinned men. I don't date light skinned men, but my friend is handsome. Y'all don't do him. But like, I should not, it's not okay for me to sleep with him while his child is asleep in the next room after I done sang the ABCs and Elmo and Sesame Street and all of that. Like, that's crazy. But, you know, the group calls her out for mixing business with pleasure, and it's just the start of a mess. Just from this point and how she exposed her secret to the group. How do you feel about it?
Um, I still feel the same way I did even hearing her say it the first time. I don't care if he was single, married, it's unprofessional.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it wasn't as bad of a situation. Like, if we want to go based on the situation, then of course it wasn't as bad. But it was still unprofessional, and you still have a job to do.
Mm.
And oh, we're going to get there. Let me go ahead and stop.
I think another important point, I saw your brain.
Yeah.
I
So
can
I
tell
was,
when he's thinking. That's why I was like, I'm not going to interrupt this process. Um, Something he's bringing up though that is a good point, and I know it gets ahead of the episode, but if you're watching this, you know you already done seen it. So I guess I'll say spoiler alert. Like Leah is ignoring the fact that it's not about what she did; it's about how it comes off. I hate to quote Dr. Phil, but what did he used to always say? Perception is everything.
yeah.
It really is. It's how people perceive you. And the perception of a lady that slept with the dad is, oh, the dad must have been in a relationship, or, oh, did this happen with the kid present? Like it goes to a negative space. But Leah doesn't really acknowledge that part. Later on, we do meet the Jane family. Now, the Jane family was interesting. She has built her family on interior, or her wealth on interior design. She has two sons. She was an African American lady. I was like, oh, cool. Some black wealth. Love to see it. Hey. But she is a lot. She lets them know up front. She's like, I've ran through a lot of nannies. She either loves them or she sends them home crying. Listen, black power or not, that's weak. I don't think you should ever pride yourself or be proud of the fact that you send people home crying. I think I have a very commanding and aggressive attitude for a female, especially when at work, but I've never sent anybody home crying. I've been told I'm intimidating for some reason, but I've never sent anybody home crying. And that's a weird thing to try and flex about. But her rules were not that bad. They really weren't that bad. The only rule that kind of threw me off, because I liked how she like wanted the nanny to acknowledge her kids doing chores instead of just having the nanny to do it. Because I think some parents forget there's a difference between a nanny and a housekeeper, but I'm a digress. But I did not like that they just have to accept that you be naked around your house. And it's not just that you're naked around other people, it's the fact that you're raising boys. I think that's weird. My mama was naked around us a lot. I am one of four kids. I'm the oldest of four. I have two little brothers. And then there's me and my sister. We're the older kids. When my brothers were babies, my mama would run through the house naked trying to get on the 80 before the traffic got bad. But when my brothers got older, she stopped doing that and we was just late. Like, I don't understand. It's true. I don't understand why this lady wants to be naked in front of her kids. And then she has a bird call for the kids. I said, Am I in a dreamland? I said, wait a minute. My husband was laying down next to me trying to sleep and woke up because I'm watching a quiet reality show and then out of nowhere you hear and all these crazy noises. Like, wait. It's kind of brilliant, but what happens if like you really like in a place where there's like wild animals and like you get confused? with the noise. How did you feel about her bird call before I get into the interviews and her rules and just the introduction of Mrs. Jane?
Um, I'm here for Black excellence, as we explained, no matter how it comes, as long as it's legal. I am totally here for, the aesthetic of it. Now, the logistics and the inside of it, I'm not a fan of. I didn't like the call to the kids. I didn't like that at all. If you need me to come, say my name.
Mm.
Don't don't I don't want to have to respond to a bird call because that also triggers something else depending on what state you live in. So I don't want that to be the call, and I'm not going to do that as no nanny either. So she would have hired me first for sure. Her being naked in front of the house, that is highly inappropriate. That's almost like, I feel like that's a CPS call. Like, depending on what we're talking about here. Like, you're not supposed to do that.
Does that count as SH? The
Yes.
you know what harassment? I'm not gonna say the first word, but it
Yes,
definitely like
it
they sign
does.
contracts. So once you sign a contract, you're
But
protected
there's
under
still a code of
workplace
conduct and
laws.
ethics that you still have to follow because that's like expository indecency. Like, you can't do that. Like, of course they're not going to contest her on it, but if like one of them wanted to sue her, they would have cause, especially if there's video proof, which I'm sure she has cameras in her house. You can't do that. Like,
It's weird.
I
It's a
wouldn't I wouldn't
weird
accept
thing
the
to
job. Like, even if
include.
she wanted to hire me, I wouldn't accept it just because I don't want to see you naked. That's not why I'm here.
It's weird that you put that into a contract too, because that's what they
Yes.
do. And I'm just thinking, like, from the legal standpoint, she's technically protecting herself from somebody suing her for harassment by putting it into the contract. But then I still think it's wild to want to put that into the contract. Like, why
My
do you
lawyer wouldn't
just
make me sign it. Like, he was like, James, like, really? Is
I
this
feel like these
really what
people
you
are
want
so
to do?
desperate for the money that they're like
Right,
willing to
probably.
sign. I don't quite like that. I just want her to put on some clothes. She looked like her body is tea,
No,
but
absolutely. She's beautiful and the body is tea. But I don't need to see it. I don't need to see, I don't need to come in there and see your you know, you, what's on your chest. I don't need to see that. I
yeah,
don't need to see your hoo ha. I don't need to see that. I don't
it's
need to
just
see any of that.
a very odd thing. Now, I agree with what you said about the bird call too. I just had to let you know because I was like, yes, James, yes, because that can actually, it's not a good thing to do to kids. But we're not
Oh,
here for a psych lesson. But he was spot on. Um, Hannah, Tamaya, and Jack all go for an interview. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I felt like Tamaya was gonna get chosen off top just because, listen, she was quieter, and I got the feeling that Mrs. Jane wanted to uplift another young African American girl. So I do think that, and nothing's wrong with that because we struggle in spaces such as the type of nannies that they're trying to advertise them to. But I also felt like Tamaya did good in her interview. It seems like she could pick up on those like analytical things. And then we have to remember that Miss Jane is a good friend of Nicola. And Nicola worked with Tamaya because Tamaya helped to plan that white party. So I feel like maybe knowing that Tamaya is organized helped her. As for Jack, he was chosen. I think it's good to have a male nanny or a gender neutral nanny. I know there's some ignorant people that are like, but Jack is gay. It's still, he still represents men. Like, it's good to have a gender neutral nanny, boy with a boy, girl with a girl, things like that work out. So I did like who she chose. Hannah was not chosen and felt like she would be chosen because they were talking about they love dance. And Hannah, it's a job. Your personal, you know, your personal things and talents and recreational activity has nothing to do with what you're doing with these kids. But I do understand she thought she'd be connected. I think what it is with Hannah is she's like too eager. Like you can smell that she needs the job. And sometimes that kind of turns people away a little bit because she did great interviewing. She did answer all of the questions appropriately. I would have preferred her to choose Hannah over Jack, but what can I do? What can I do? But how'd you feel about who she chose in their interviews?
I was actually, I wasn't surprised that she picked Tamaya. I wasn't surprised by that at all. Black on black, I totally saw that coming, even before they even sat down. I was surprised that she chose two nannies. Like it was kind of like what you said. I feel like she did the black thing where she's like, I'm gonna hire you because
Mhm.
you the minority here, so we're gonna make sure you get a job. But then I need a real nanny. I need a man for these boys, so I'm gonna pick Jack, and we're gonna call it a day. Sorry, Hannah, you had to get the boot, but it's nothing personal. My sister here, and then I need an actual nanny. That's how I
Listen,
look at it.
that's the best way to explain it. Hannah was pissed off, and understandably so, but control yourself and wait to unleash that when you're in the car. Like, I wouldn't have even let myself snap on that rich person's property because, I'm just a regular middle class American. Okay. I would have assumed that I was being recorded. There's audio. I would have assumed that all of that was happening. But, Hannah's frustrated because she is the only one now who has not had a job. So I do think she's valid in her feelings. She's just, the smaller the girl, the more feisty and spunky she is, it seems. And Hannah lives up to that. I do like her. It's just I because she has not let us forget now one episode that she needs some money and that she paying rent. And that's relatable. I hate when people get up there and flex. Like, listen, when I pay my rent, I just pulled my rent out my rear end for this month, me and Mr. Best. So hey, California, help us, Lord. But I appreciate how relatable Hannah is. The lady did make a concerning comment. She wants her nanny to be stricter than she is, and she's already pretty strict because she wants to be looked at as like not that bad. Miss Jane, I see why you was here for an episode, boo. That's all I'm gonna say. Um, Mitch asked, I'm gonna call him Mitch. I know his name is Mitchell, but Mitch is shorter. Mitchell asked Taylor to call Nicola to make sure that Nicola has not told anybody the secret that Taylor foolishly told Nicola, which was that Leah has slept with a dad, aka her employer, before. And Nicola answers the FaceTime and she admits to telling Bregan, which is the Bregan Jane, aka Miss Jane. That's what I've been calling her. But she does admit to telling Bregan. And I'm like, okay, Bregan's going to be having some sort of an event. And Bregan is aware of this. I'm just curious how she'll handle it. But if there's one thing I know to be true about Black women, if there's something we don't like, we will confront it in some way. So we will come back to her and see what happens later. James, did you want to add or comment on the phone call they made to Nicola?
Yeah, actually, I would because to me, she was having so much hope that Nicola wasn't gonna say anything, and I said, "Now, Taylor, you know doggone well, as juicy as that tea is, and how many rich folks is in that small little ass island, you really thought that lady wasn't gonna go say nothing? This is why you don't tell people's business, because now you can't take it back now knowing that it wasn't as bad as everyone perpetrated that it was,
Hmm.
or perpetuated that it was."
I'm just like, you bring up a good point though, because Taylor is either playing dumb for the camera or she really just ain't that smart. There ain't too many.
I think both are true. I don't think she's that smart, and I do think she's playing it up for the cameras.
Mm,
I think
that
both are
is,
true.
you know what? That's a good point. That's a very good point. Two things can always be true at the same time, and I could
Yep.
absolutely see that. I'm not going to lie to you. I could absolutely see that. Because Taylor's just been making my teeth itch. At this point, I need to see an orthodontist. I don't know what to do. Taylor is stressing me out episode after episode. Taylor is like watching The Polygamist, but in the melanin redacted form. It just gets worse and worse and worse each episode with Taylor. She stressed me out, but she also just seemed a little dingy. Like she really don't mean no harm. But then I also feel like she be meaning harm, but then be changing her mind when she comes out of her evil space. That James is correct. You're on a roll today. Leah and Sydney are at the G's um, anniversary dinner, and Mrs. G opened up about her fertility struggles and conceiving her twins. Or they're not twins. I think one is named Alma. The other, I can't remember the other little girl's name. I feel so bad.
I don't feel bad. I don't
I
know
feel
the
so
little
bad.
girl's name. You just said the first name. So no, I don't feel bad. But no, they're not twins. They're
Oh,
a couple years.
I figured that out. But she
Mhm.
had fertility struggles. It looks like they went the route of surrogacy because of that, which was smart. Um, the husband looked a little uncomfortable. I don't know if you peeped. The husband looked very
He
uncomfortable
always
when
looks
she was talking
uncomfortable.
about that.
Listen, that husband always looks uncomfortable. I don't think he really want to be in this. realm with them because he knows how they could be. So it's like he's nervous that she's going to say something that she's not going to be able to retract, or she's going to expose something that nobody needs to know. It just, he always looks like his business is about to get exposed and he doesn't want that.
James said he's miserable.
He is.
In so
Like,
many words.
in so many words, he's miserable. Like you can see it in his face.
The way that they're acting, I think the wealth thing is problematic. Like,
I agree.
I don't like this. Listen, we are both from California. We have some of the richest populations that live here. The Bay Area has one of the highest population of billionaires, I believe, next to Palm Beach and Miami area in Florida. Like the richer, like there's particular, yes, but the G's, the women are like they are doing the most. That's what I will say.
Yes.
Um, but the dinner, it went okay. They got to see a softer side of them. However, of course, Sydney has concern like they've opened up and now there's still this secret in the background. But we'll come back to the G's. They are going to be a big thing. Did you want to add anything else about just the fertility struggles? No, I don't like that.
No,
I feel like I'm
yeah.
giving them a platform and they want to be talked about. That sounds mean, but I'm here to review the nannies, not the rich families that are already okay in life. Okay. Um, Bregan Jane has a chat with Tamaya, and she is having a chat with her, thinking that she could get some tea. But Tamaya, I would like this is what we strive to look for with Black women when it comes to fighting those stereotypes about us and how we behave on television. Tamaya's had beefs with certain women on this show, gotten into arguments, has not said a curse word, is nannying with a purpose to be an audiologist. And then, when being questioned by this rich, messy woman who liked to run around naked, okay, she decided that she was not going to tell her anything. She picked up on the fact that Bregan was like hinting tough, like, I know somebody in your agency slept around with somebody. But Tamaya did not say anything, and I think that was the smartest thing to do. These are temporary contracts. Now, if I'm being hired as your permanent nanny, I'll sing like a canary because I'm getting a regular paycheck. But I'm just on contract in Ibiza. No, you're not going to get information out of me. I'm not surprised that she tried to do that because parents are messy. When I worked daycare, I had parents that did not like each other, and we would do like holiday parties and events and stuff. They would be coming to all the workers and to the owner of the daycare being messy, messy. Okay. So I'm looking into it and I'm not surprised. But how'd you feel about it? Because I felt like Tamaya did wonderful.
She did. She, to me, that's the example of there for a purpose and a paycheck, not to be messy and out of spiraling control like some of the other cast members on here. That's why I'm glad she's on this show because this is perfect representation of us in these
Mm-hmm.
kind of messy ass settings. Because a lot of the time they expect the Black person to be the messy person in this situation. And I'm glad she's changing that stereotype.
I
I
agree.
really am. And I was reading a comment somewhere. They were saying, "Well, I think," because someone else said, "I'm glad she's not being messy," and they said, "Well, would you have felt differently if there was another Black person on the show who was being messy?" I said, "No," because I look at every Black person as an individual, and it's
Mm-hmm.
your choice whether or not you want to be messy or not be messy. And for another Black woman to be like, "Girl, spill me the tip," be like, "No, I'm here to get a paycheck." That's why I said I'm watching her because nothing in that household streams professional as much as their money comes from a great profession.
That's the truth. That's the
Yes.
truth. I love it. I think Tamaya doing that also. I don't know if Tamaya's smart, but if she's serious about nannying for the elite, I'm pretty sure anybody that watches this show, and a lot of people subscribe to Hulu, Disney Plus, and Freeform. Okay, I'm sure a lot of people watching this show in Scottsdale, bougie ass Stockdale, Arizona. I am sure they will watch and be like, let's call her. Let's call her. Because at least if she sees that they be having drama in the rich, that the dad done cheated on the mom with her friend from round the way. At least they know Tamaya, you don't got to threaten her with the NDA. She gon' stay tight lipped. Like that is gold in that industry. So good for her for that. We have to take it back to hell though. Hannah calls her mama. Hannah still don't got a job. I wish I had a violin because she deserves it. And I'm not even trying to be petty. She wants to work. I respect a person who wants to work, okay? That's all you can do. Sometimes you're not able to find work in the time frame that works for you. We've all been there at times. But I think what counts is a person's will to want to work and the fact that they keep trying, even if they're not getting the results they need when they need them. So shout out to anybody out there struggling. Hopefully that uplifts you. But Hannah wants to work. She can't. She has an apartment in Bushwick in New York, expensive neighborhood. I mean, all of New York is expensive, but that's a more expensive neighborhood. And she needs $3,000 to cover her part of that Airbnb. Her parents are like, we'll do the best we can, but her mother's a teacher. Her mother was an educator. You know, justice for teachers, y'all. They really are. There's no reason that these people should be having to go into their own pockets to make sure that other people's kids can learn appropriately. Like, shout out to all of the teachers. I love me a teacher, but her parents don't have it. They don't have $3,000. I can't call my mom and ask for $3,000 either. I don't know anyone I can call, honestly, and ask for just $3,000. But her parents are going to try. How do you feel about that? Because I was like, $3,000 just for your portion. I understand that's a big Airbnb, but I also feel like between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 nannies. Because I went on Airbnb after watching this episode and put in like Ibiza and was looking at the mansions and stuff on there. How long were they there is my question.
They had to have been there longer than 3 months, and it can't be everyone has to give 3,000 a month there because there's no way that Airbnb is 24,000 a month. Like, that's crazy. Like, if it's 24,000 a month, like that's like how big is it? Because it doesn't look that big to me.
Exactly.
It doesn't
It's a
look that
small
big. Yeah.
little. I'm so confused. I'm like, maybe that's her total price, but I mean, I hope
It
she
has
figures
to
it
be.
out. If she has to go home, go home. Because
So
there's a
yeah,
lot of
like
rich people running around New York City, boo.
I would give it one more week, and if it ain't turning around, then yeah, go home. Like I mean,
Go
it ain't
home.
working.
Save your money. You don't want to put yourself in a bad financial situation.
Right.
Lord. But I feel for Hannah, and I actually appreciate Hannah for sharing what she's going through and experiencing off camera. I do think it makes her relatable. It's like a creative way to like break fourth wall without quite breaking fourth wall, if that makes
Yes.
sense. Because people go through it when they go on reality shows. They don't just get the money off the top. Later, the group ends up going out, and apparently, the group is talking about the fact that Mitchell and Taylor are in a relationship, but they've never seen them kiss. I know that that wasn't a big thing, but I have noticed that Taylor and Mitchell are not the most affectionate couple. And whenever a couple lacks affection, that tells me that there's something lacking in the relationship. Doesn't mean it's doomed. Please don't go saying that I'm putting declarative statements on y'all's relationships out there. Please don't say that. That is not what I'm saying. But a lack of affection in a romantic anything is usually a red flag of some sort. But I guess they're noticing that they do kind of kiss, but I've kind of felt like there's a lot of issues with Taylor and Mitchell, but we'll come back to them. Jack tells the group of the party that Bregan is going to be having at her place, and Hannah is still salty. So she's like, does she even want me there? Bregan said to you it's not personal and that you were a great candidate. Sometimes you're a great candidate, but you're one of several other great candidates, which means that you may not be said choosing candidate. Now, though I like Hannah, I want her to relax. I want her to relax because I sense a crash out coming over all of this. Tamaya asked Hannah, because her energy was off, not to bring the energy to the job. And it was like a whole thing, but it wasn't as much of a thing. Tamaya held her own, and Hannah ended up just zipping it. I think Hannah realized, like, I'm upset and I'm snapping at this girl who don't have nothing to do with me. They just trying to have a good time. Now, when they get back to the house, Taylor decides to tell Hannah that Tamaya called her a bitch. Bicth. Shout out Mama D. And RIP Love and Hip Hop. But she told this information to Hannah. And so Hannah's now like, okay, so on top of saying something at the table, you calling me out my name. She said that she also felt like she had mean girl vibes. So Hannah ends up going straight to the source, and that's how I am. If somebody comes to me and you say, "Hey, Amina, this person said this about you," you better be real confident in what they said, because I'm gonna go straight to the source. Never been scary. We just gonna ask you, did you say this? Okay, because the way a person reacts to give you your answer. And so Hannah went right to the source, which was Tamaya, and said, "I feel like I snapped on you because what you didn't know before the dinner, Taylor had told me that you said I was a mean girl and called me a bitch." And Tamaya was like, "That's impossible because I don't even curse." And that's when I realized this lady has not said a single curse word. A single curse word. Leah is mother effing this and F that and all of the above. And I did notice this woman has not said a single curse word. I strive. I strive. Because in my mind, I'm like, that's my biggest fear with monetization, my mouth. James will tell y'all on and off camera, my mouth is pretty bad. So I'm looking at her like, good girl, good job and good girl, but it was not a good thing. It was not a good thing. Tamaya handled it well. Hannah did admit to having a bad attitude, and her and Tamaya squashed their problem. And I appreciated Jack, because even though Jack is closest to Hannah, he did kind of, like, while they were having their interaction, make it like, you do have a bad attitude, Hannah. Like, you did. So, that's another piece. Things won't be able to come about without that. But Taylor, that girl went over there thinking she had ammo to fight and ended up apologizing to Tamaya. So Taylor claims, because Tamaya goes over to Taylor, she's pissed. And, Taylor claims that she did say that. And Tamaya, I love that no matter what, she did not deny. Like, she didn't take back or give in to what Taylor's narrative was trying to be. And Taylor looked and was like, "Well, I don't lie." And Tamaya did what all of us would do and probably did, and laughed. "I lie. James lies. You watching me lies. Like, everybody lies. Humans lie. And it's a fact. Humans lie so much that I'm getting a graduate degree in psychology, and I have to learn about the reasons why and how lying is sometimes induced by flight or flight and all these other things. Like, but everyone lies. So anybody who says to you they don't lie, well, if they didn't, they have, because they just told their first lie. So I don't understand why Taylor pulled that foolery with her. And when she figured out that she wasn't going to be able to get Tamaya to back down, she starts crying and says, "I've never lied in my life, and these girls, I don't understand. They keep coming." I'm like, she's crying again. She's crying again. James, how do you feel about what happened with Hannah and Taylor and Tamaya and Taylor's tears, and the fact that she has never told a lie in her entire life, even though she's told a few on camera?
Let me explain something to you, Tamaya. If you don't curse, this is when I would have started cursing.
Right.
This is when the cursing would have began. This would have been my introduction into cursing. Because
Like,
the way
bitch,
I would
what?
have cursed Taylor out, she really would have been crying for a real reason, other than the dramatic Karen reason she decided to do it now. I'm gonna say this about Taylor. Taylor is dangerous. Taylor is a danger to y'all's infrastructure and ability of business. It just so happened, I think the reason why she got her job, like I said, Nicola, is all about women empowerment, and it's because she's pretty.
I
That's the
agree.
only
Yeah.
reason why I feel like Nicola gave her that position is because she's pretty. Because Nicola gives me somebody that loves aesthetic
Pretty privileged.
before
She
she
said it.
gets it.
You look like
Yes,
a Barbie doll.
yes, and I think that that's why she got her job. And because there's no way I'm looking at the intellect of Taylor, who, when getting confronted by somebody over a lie that she just told to someone else, and the problem with the lie and why it's a lie is because the person who she lied on doesn't even curse. So how would she call her that name if she doesn't curse, Taylor? You think she's gonna just slip and say it with you?
That's why she started crying. She thought about that, and it was like, uh-oh.
Yes, a danger to y'all society.
A hot mess, y'all. An actual hot mess. I didn't understand why they did what they did, specifically Taylor. And this pretty much solidified what I have already felt about Taylor, which is the fact that she starts crap. She throws rocks and hides her hands. It's really just that simple. It's what she does. She loves to do it. I don't think she'll ever stop being that way. The next thing we're going to get into is the party that Bregan had, aka Mrs. Jane. And I just want to take a moment to say I am a nice person. I swear to y'all, I'm a nice person. And I try to watch my mouth. I really try to watch my mouth on the internet, but I'm about to talk a little bit of shit. Mrs. G looked a damn fool. I didn't understand the hat that she wore to the party. This was the example of not high fashion, but I was able to afford it, so I bought it. She needs a stylist desperately. She needs a stylist. You could tell they're so rich that they have not gotten real feedback in forever. How'd you feel about that hat?
Why would you ask me about that?
You wanted to, hey, he here. That
Because I wasn't ready. I'm not ready. I hate to see when people are that rich and they buy something so gaudy and just so tacky that you're like, what was the purpose of that?
That's why that man looks so unhappy.
Yes. Because I feel like she does this constantly. I feel like that hat is one of many. I feel like that dress was one of many that she has that is just completely just like tasteless and just tacky. And I'm just like, why? And what are you? Where do you think? And this is another thing. When she dresses, where do you think you going?
You
Like,
at
where?
somebody's house for a
Yes.
party in the summertime on an island.
Ain't you hot? Like, it's okay. Like, I get it may be religious reasons. Yeah, I totally get it. I'm not trying to be insensitive to them because I do believe they live in Dubai. I do believe I read that somewhere. So they dress very conservative. They don't show their chest and everything. But you not on that. You ain't in that country right now.
I would have had my go watch James's recaps of the Housewives of Dubai. We know that the show was canceled after a very long pause. But we love when y'all watch our old videos. Watch the old videos. But what I saw from them women in Dubai and other people who we've watched on television travel to Dubai, you can still, if you got the right, wear what you want. I think this lady just needs a stylist, but Mrs. G, do you in your hat. Um, Taylor and Mitch, they think shit's sweet. They do. They think things sweet at the party. They're like, yeah, I think we're in the clear. Nothing's come out to Leah yet. And I'm like, oh, I see the problem. She's not smart, but he's also not smart. And it's not good to have two not smart people together. Somebody
Right.
got to be like
Somebody
Mr.
got to be.
Best. Mr. Best would come to math. Nope. Math, budgets. He says no. He has a portion of his paycheck directed into my account because he don't want to pay bills. He don't want to do the math. So he just sends it. Okay. I'm great at math, but me, I'm a big spender. So send me what you need, but I really only keep the card on me that I pay the bills with because I know not to touch that one. I will spend if I have it. Okay. So maybe that's the issue with Taylor and Mitch, but I really think they just both dumb. Speaking of Mitch, the three dads decide to offer him a full-time job as their nanny in LA. And I think that is the goal of what they're doing. Leah hasn't even been offered full time, and she created this and made it seem like she has all the contacts and all the juice and all the sauce. Now, when I was mad because Mitch, you know that you're dating a crash out. So why would you go and tell Taylor in a public place about the fact that you got this offer? Mitch and Taylor live in Ohio. They live in the Midwest. So the job that they have, if he takes it, he will have to move to California full time. Not surprised. I was like, they're either, if they're in the US, in California, New York, or Florida, if I'm being honest. It was one of them three places. But Taylor is anxious, even though Mitch explains he hasn't given an answer yet. And he makes it clear like it will be something they'll obviously discuss as a couple. And he's going to take his time to think on it. He also let Taylor know that the dads are willing to give him time to think on it. And Taylor gets so anxious that she says she needs someone to talk to. So instead of talking to the group of women that she's formed a relationship with, she decides to go and talk to Bregan, the parent on contract who they need to like them so that they can continue, nannying and getting more jobs. Y'all may be like, Mrs. Best, are you really upset that she talked to Bregan? Yes, I am pissed that she went and talked to
And
Bregan.
so am I. Listen, you guys.
Look,
Me and Mrs. Best is here. No, you don't talk to the employers about opportunities that you're upset your man got because it would take him away from you. That
thank
is
you.
called stupidity. That was stupid.
And then you're playing once again with everybody else's jobs. Your
Yeah.
actions impact other
Like,
people.
I told Mrs. Bestis, Taylor is going to get them removed from the island. She is. She is going to get them removed from the island. They're not going to be able to come back season 2
James
because of
said,
her.
okay, we playing Love Island. This is Temptation Island. He said she finna get them banished.
She's going to get them banished because it's like she is too dangerous. What makes you think in your right mind that it was okay to tell that lady or express to that lady your frustrations and your concern about him not even giving them an answer yet? It's not like he said, yeah, I'll take it, and then Taylor has to deal with it. It's not like he did that. He's considering you. But Mitch, let me explain something to you. If you don't take the opportunity, you're fucking stupid.
Preach.
Over Taylor. There's plenty of Taylors in California.
Thank you.
Plenty of them.
Oh, a whole handful.
Oh,
And when I
handful.
say
I tell
even in
you
the rural
this.
areas, they're
You can
everywhere
go to
out here.
they're primarily in Laguna Beach and Orange County,
That is true.
primarily,
That is
but
true.
they're there. Trust me. There are plenty of them that will do exactly what she's doing right now. So you're
That's
not
true.
missing out on nothing. She's very common.
I feel like he knows that though, and I feel like that's a problem in the relationship. But we'll save that for some other reviews. Um, thank you. Taylor irked me. I couldn't even. That's why he had to come in. I could not because I'm like,
Yeah.
it also shows you haven't learned from the mistake you just made, which was
Right.
going to Nicola and telling her something. So then you go and you repeat the mistake to someone else, which was crazy. And I feel like she might have done it because she knows that Tamaya is working for Bregan. I feel like she wanted to sabotage her or Mitchell in some way. So she's definitely crazy. Taylor's just gonna keep going crazy. But you know what, Taylor? You good TV, baby. You are good TV. You acted a fool on this show, but I really think this girl is just, she's trying to be mean at times, but I don't think she's good at it. I think she really is a sweetheart to her core and just a little bit dingy. I do. I do. So I'm not even faulting Taylor. She gives me the lights are on, but nobody's home. Motel 6. Okay. The new refurbished, remodeled version of Motel 6. Lord. But yeah, she goes crazy. Later on, Bregan walks up to Leah. This is at the end of the episode, and everyone's having a talk. And Bregan kind of says to Leah randomly, she's like, I know your secret, and walked away. Leah looked, the way she spun to look like, huh? Was funny because she really was, you could tell she was thrown off. And Leah, Tamaya, Olivia, and Jack also, they were like, how does she know my secret? That's what she just said. So she knows. Because, Leah's crashing out also. She's also a crash out. And everyone in the group points out that when Bregan came up to say that, they looked and they saw Taylor crying and being consoled by Bregan. So they put 1 and 2 together and said, oh, Lord, we think it's Taylor who told the secret. And it does come back to her. She didn't tell Bregan, but she told Nicola. So it all got back to her. Leah ends up crashing out and leaving the party upset. I think that was the worst thing to do because now you've shown that you're emotionally regulated, unprofessional, potentially a risk to wives. And these people are a mess. How did you feel about this episode and what happened, how it ended?
Um, as I said, pack up and go home because Taylor's gonna get y'all all banished from the island. So y'all might as well just go ahead and pack up and try to leave while you can, because she's going to mess it up. I feel like this is one of many things that she's about to do that's gonna fuck it up for the rest of you. Who I curse, sorry.
You can curse. We're 44 minutes in.
Oh, okay. She gonna do it. She gonna mess it up for y'all. She just is.
Yeah.
And this is where emotional maturity does not happen for a lot of people in their 20s, and this shows. Because there's no way, even with common sense, that you would think that that would be the okay thing to do.
Jesus.
Yes.
Taylor, seek help or like maybe just let him put some babies in you and you guys find a
Oh,
name.
yeah, and one more thing. Miss Ma'am, the black lady,
Regan.
Regan. I keep forgetting her name, and I did that. I don't even have it in my notes. Miss Ma'am, you messy.
She is. The
You messy
smile
as
when she
hell.
walked off. She
Yes,
enjoyed
you're
that.
messy as hell. I would watch. Now, see, I was trying to advocate for her, but she got too much problematic shit. For her to be that rich and be this messy, listen, when you reach a stature of wealth that is very hard to obtain, you need to leave your ghetto background behind you and your messy background behind you because you have now elevated beyond. But
Hmm.
sometimes, listen, you could take the hood out the ninja, but sometimes you can't take the ninja out the hood.
You
And
can
that's
take
exactly
the
what you
out the
get.
ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out
You
of
can't.
me.
You can't. Like
It's
she
true.
just,
It's very true. It's very true because
and the same goes for Messi. Yeah,
it showed, but I did look into her interior designs and Brigham, you have a gift if I ever get the money I strive.
me
Um
too. Yes.
I love interior design. One of my favorite things is to put together, like, I know y'all always see me because I do my lives for the most part from either the bed or the couch. And I have a whole desk that I need to set up in a green screen, but I'm gonna get there. But I
Yes.
would love, I love
I
interior
also love
design.
interior design. I get the apps. I look at houses all the time. I look at decor to see how people did it. There's a house in Bel Air. I wouldn't change a thing.
He said
I
I
would
wouldn't
move
change a
into it.
thing.
I would move into it exactly how it is, just because I love the decor. I would not change it. I would buy all the furniture if they need me to. I would do it. I am not changing a single thing in
Listen,
that house. That's how much I love it.
decor matters, y'all. But that
Yes.
is all we got for episode 4. It was I Know Your Secret. We will be covering the rest of the season. I appreciate you guys for supporting me. For those wondering, why did he say, ooh, I cursed? I am newly monetized. There are some things that I have been doing that I need to not be doing and stop. And some of those things are cursing, but I do put a disclaimer in the video. Most of what we discuss is for people over 18. If you under 18 and can relate to any of this, call your mom, call somebody. But that is it for this review. I will get out episode 5. I will get that out either Wednesday or Friday. But tap in. James will be live on his channel right now with the shows that he has, which are Housewives of Atlanta, Bell Collective, Heart and Hustle Houston. He does his lives and his content on Sundays and Mondays, so be sure to subscribe to his channel. Other than that, love and light to everybody. I hope you guys all enjoy your day, and we'll see you next time. Au revoir.